yeah, Sarah. I'm loving as well this breath control that we're seeing. Stop focusing on your fucking diaphragm, okay? Kia ora, my name's Zoe Stebe, and I am your vocal coach for today. I am so excited because we start looking at some Eurovision performances. We're going to be taking a look at Sarah Engels with Fire from Germany. We're going to be taking a look at what is she up to with her vocal technique. How is she creating these fabulous, I've never heard this song before, but I'm assuming it's going to be fabulous. How is she creating these sounds, and how can you create those sounds with your own beautiful voice? Let's just get straight to fire. When I hear that, I think, this girl is on fire. Boy, I'm out of your league. Nonsense what you've been doing to me. Just know that I could take my revenge. I could go out with all of your friends. I love it. I already love it. I know this is going to be a good performance. Okay. Oh, she really hit me with those first notes. Let's just do that again. Okay, so we're up on the G4 there, which is the G above middle C. She is in a thicker vocal fold there, or the chest voice. This is sitting very much within the comfortable chest voice register of the female voice. Let's just go back on that. Stop denying, no more. Boy, I'm out of your league. Nonsense what you've been doing to me. Just know that I could take my revenge. I could go out with all of your friends. I could go out with all of your friends. Oh yeah, Sarah, just sing it to us. Okay, so we've got a repeat of the same melody. I love to give singers songs like this when they're working on their chest voice register. I actually have a 3-day course for you down in the description below if you want to learn how to work this part of your register, and you can use the song actually, because when you're repeating the melody, you're going to be able to really get it into the muscular feeling within the throat, which makes it easier to repeat than in other songs. But all of your friends, which got a little bit of breath coming in there at the beginning. That's to be expected, to be honest, with this level of nerves. This is a high stakes situation for Sarah here. I'm out of your league. Nonsense what you've been doing to me. Just know that I could take my revenge. I could go out with all of your friends. I can fake it till I make it, but I won't fake it till I make it, but if you crave it, you can take it, but you don't. I'm loving as well this breath control that we're seeing. Thank you so much, Sarah, for wearing a costume that allows us to see that beautiful rib movement. I love to see a good movable rib. So what we've got there is just under where I'm going to ask you to take a look at the area just underneath where her bra sits, because you can see the expansion of the ribs as she's breathing in there. So we've got the okay, don't know the lyrics, right? First time listening to the song. What happens there when we actually activate those in-breath muscles correctly, they are going to help to support the sound, because I want you to, from this moment on, stop focusing on your fucking diaphragm, okay? I'll get into that a little bit later on. I just want to stop focusing on the diaphragm. Let's just go back on that. That I could take my revenge. I could go out with all of your friends. I can fake it till I make it, but I won't fake it till I make it, but if you crave it, you... Oh, it just makes me want to just dance. So, did you see there? We saw such a tiny amount of movement, and that's exactly what we want in the chest voice register. We want less in breath, okay? If you take on loads and loads of breath, If you fake it till you make it till you won't. If you take on shitloads of breath, you're actually going to be doing your poor vocal folds a disservice. They're only about as small as your pinky fingernail. And so if you're like blowing all of that air at it, it makes it very difficult for them to close. So thinking about breathing in less is actually going to help you to get more volume on the sound. Ha ha ha! I know it sounds really counterintuitive, but it's actually works. Fake it till I make it, but I won't. Fake it till I make it, but if you crave it, you can take it, but you don't. You can take it, but I don't want it, I don't need it, and I want it, you repeat it. You just play it till you break it and it's blown. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm in love with this song. So she get that little bit of that growl, that little rattle. That's actually the arytenoids, which are the things that open and close the vocal folds, knocking together. Now, that's actually a letting go of the sound, and I want you to think about cookies when you're making that. It's not about cookies. We're not blowing a whole bunch of air through the sound. I feel like this is a bit of a theme for today's analysis. We're actually thinking about using less breath. You could write that on a post-it note and put it next to your music stand. Fucking breathe in less. Okay, that's my theme for today. Okay, so we're actually going up to the B4. Now she's got great pitching in the song. I would expect that from a pro, but we're going to go into the next little break, a little exercise that you can do to help you with your pitching with these like big intervals. Could go on with all of your friends. I can fake it till I make it, but I won't. Fake it till I make it, but if you crave it, you can take it, but you don't. You can take it, but I don't want it, I don't need it, and I want it, you repeat it. You just play it till you break it and it's blown. So she got, you can fake it till you make it, but you won't. And using that F is actually going, I mean, it's an F, right? It's written in the lyrics, but the F actually helps us to build up back pressure in order to hit the notes. So rather than going, you can fake it till you, and like pulling the chest voice up there. The idea is that we actually get the larynx seated into that higher position before we onset the note. You can fake it till you make it, but you don't. And taking just that mini pause can help you to prepare the larynx. That's actually the masterclass that we did yesterday inside my online singing school, the Vocal Academy. We were talking all about how the larynx position can either help or hinder your singing, especially when you're going higher and like at the extreme parts of the range. And in this part, we need to get that larynx nice and high. Oh, okay. So you can really clearly hear and sort of like a darkening on that lower, more open vowel. And she's sort of like sitting on that second note. That's quite typical when the second syllable in a word is more of an open vowel. And as soon as we open up that mouth and open the vowel, that is going to allow us to kind of like, we call it park and bark, like sit into the note. Actually helps us to access that chest voice, to go back into that chest voice sound if we've kind of gone out. She's not high enough. Actually, okay, I say only on the C5 there, but that is still relatively high for a lot of singers within their chest voice register. So it would be about working on maybe switching into the head voice and then coming back and down into the chest if that was something you're wanting to work on. Very, very cool. We got fire, fire, ba. Now, if we're working on that type of like level of articulation, she's saying like fire, 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 like quite a lot. We really want to be working on those articulation muscles. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, Zoe, I do all of my tongue twisters and all that sort of shit. I have to tell you that tongue twisters are Really, really great for working at the speed of your articulation. But if we don't actually work at, working on strengthening the actual articulation muscles, you can say tongue twisters until you're blue in the face and they will do like absolutely fuck all for you. So that is why we at the Vocal Academy have an incomplete myofunctional therapy course for you within the singing school, because these are additional exercises. It takes about 2 minutes per day for you to basically do like the bicep curls with your tongue to work on that. But my absolute favorite one, I'll give it to you now, it's the tongue cave. So you're going to suck the tongue to the top of the mouth. Oh God, I've been doing that like way too much this week. And what we're doing there is we're stretching the tongue for one. We're also strengthening a whole bunch of muscles within the tongue. And you might have seen this around like the mewing guy, Dr. Mew, or like people talking about facial symmetry. Like that's one of the benefits. But one of the benefits is also you breathe better, increased how good you sleep or how well you sleep. Oh, bad English today, Zoe. So we're going to suck the tongue to the top of the mouth. And you can do that for 30 seconds. And then you do a big tongue click. Okay. And that's one of my absolute favorite exercises. It's actually like level 1. We have 4 different levels inside the academy about, building up these muscles within the articulators. So you can apply down the description below. It's changed my life, changed my singing. Pitching, everything, stability has become so much better. Way more helpful than working on that fucking diaphragm. Okay. Just wait a minute, you're gonna see that you won't find another like me. You come around and I'll be too late, 'cause I won't do the same old mistake. I can fake it till I make it, but I won't take it till I make it. Now, I think that Sarah is a fabulous singer. It's also like, who the fuck am I? I'm not going to say, this just, we can hear it. It's not subjective. It's objectively looking at, it's a little bit below in the pitch for this second pre-chorus. This is quite usual, especially when we're doing lots of movement. There might be a decrease in the pressure going on underneath the lungs. And this is also a matter of like stamina and nervousness that kind of comes into it. The way that we fix that is, as I said before, strengthening the tongue muscles so that the tongue doesn't actually start to tire and drop down as we're continuing on the song. And we're wanting to think about lifting up that soft palate. So as we're going through that, you can fake it till you make it, but you won't. So we sometimes need to work harder as the song's progressing. And that is about working harder within the soft palate. And I like to think about it being like you're doing a little bit of a smile that you can see my cheeks are raising. Now, the cheeks actually have absolutely nothing to do with the soft palate, but there's like this wonderful thing that happens in singers that when we start to like lift up here, we automatically start to lift the soft palate. Again, Sarah's doing an absolutely beautiful job. I just wanted to point that out, that yes, there is a little bit of drop in pitch, and that is quite normal when we start to, like, the stamina question starts to come in. Another like me, you come around and I'll be too late, 'cause I won't do the same old mistake. I can fake it till I make it, but I won't take it till I make it. If you crave it, you can take it, but you don't. Fantastic. This is exactly, it kind of repeats itself, exactly what is needed for Eurovision, and it's a great song. But I just also was thinking about this idea of the pitch kind of dropping a little bit. This is also something that happens with singers a lot when they start to add in, like when they try and get louder on a sound that is already loud, okay? Because there's like a maximum volume that we're able to do as singers. Now, this could be due to her inner ears. This could be due to like a whole bunch of different things. Maybe she doesn't hear herself. We get excited. We kind of start to, what we call in singing, over sing. And when we start to try and sing louder than we really can at that level, we can unknowingly actually push the note out of tune. So we're actually thinking the right note, we're singing the right note, which means that we don't actually hear that we're out of tune. But because we're now adding too much volume to it, we've pushed the note a little bit out of tune. That can happen. And, it happens to fucking all of us, right? Like it's just part and parcel of like kind of getting a bit excited about it. That's why I like to say to singers, you have to get out there and practice performing, record yourself, go back and remember what that feeling is when you're on stage so that you can manage it on stage and like resist the urge to just kind of like let it splat everywhere. You come around and I've been too late, 'cause I won't do the same old mistake. I love her mouth position here. Let's just go back because we can see it really, really. A bit too late. You know, we've got this late with this wide mouth position. Really, really good. I'm loving that we're not seeing any, I mean, look, she's a professional singer, okay? I wouldn't expect to see this in a professional singer anyway. Excess jaw tension. We're wanting to make sure that the jaw is just moving along with the lyric and not going, too late, I'll be do, when we start to get like a really fixed jaw position. That is something that needs to be worked on individually, but it is actually something that is helped by building up the muscles in the tongue and the articulators, because often these muscles are trying to compensate for their lack of stability by like holding on to themselves. Like me, you come around and I've been too late, 'cause I won't do the same old mistake. I can fake it till I make it, but I won't take it till I make it. If you crave it, you can take it, but you don't. Okay, you can say, she's almost holding on to that more trumpet shape, which is what we need when we are going higher in the chest voice register. More of that lift here, soft palate's gone up. And she's got, I mean, obviously she's a dancer, so she does have a certain level of muscularity and control within her body without her sort of like overdoing it. It has to be said that when, you know, professional singers are performing, they do make it look really easy, but that's because they've put hundreds and thousands of hours into practicing their instrument. That's why they look so cool, calm, and collected. And just because it might not be happening for you at this very moment does not mean that you can't sing. It doesn't mean that you can't learn how to do it. It's just that maybe it looks a little bit more effortful. Fucking hell. These aligners are really screwing with my articulation, I have to say. Only 10 more months of them, okay? Only 10 more months of them. So it is really going to make it effortful for, you know, for you at the beginning, and then it will like start to look easier as you continue with your training. The E5 there, we saw the tongue spreading and the back of the tongue going down a little bit. Let's just go back on that. I want you to pay close attention to the tongue position. She does start to poke the tongue a little bit in front of those bottom teeth. And we had a little bit of a release into the vibrato there. So firstly, I mean, look, she's a pro, right? But what she's doing there, we've got a trumpet shape. It's going to help to hold on to those thicker vocal folds as we're going up in the range. Now, I've seen a couple of teachers talk about like actually showing the top teeth. You don't have to do that. What we're doing there is we're raising these cheek muscles, as I said earlier. That doesn't have a direct knock-on effect, but something about singing makes it that it does, but that is going to help to raise the soft palate. Actually raising it here is immediately going to have a knock-on effect here in the sternocleidomastoids to help us to stabilize the sound. We saw the tongue kind of flattening out and dipping down at the back. That's going to happen because as we're going higher in the chest voice register, we need to donate a little bit of the tongue to the larynx, and that's why we get that dip going on, so that can help her. I would say we're actually not high enough in the range in order to need to do that. But what that is doing is just slightly darkening the timbre of that sound so it doesn't sound like super bright, which is obviously, the kind of the goal of what she's going for. She is poking the tongue forward, which is going to then like negate any of that donation to the, of the tongue to the larynx there. So I would probably say keep the tongue behind the bottom teeth. It doesn't need to come out because it's not high enough for her to really warrant that. But again, that would be something that I'd need to really look at in like one-to-one training and kind of see what's going on there. Yeah, you can see it's very clearly coming out over the teeth, but that would be a matter of like kind of suck it and see with a singer really, and like going, okay, is that actually comfortable for you? Is that the sound that you're wanting to go for? Or are you looking for a different type of sound? Honestly, if it's not broke, we don't really try and fix it in a pro world. And you can say, no more. And you can see the definite tongue going back there. The tongue going back in the mouth is going to give a perception of a darker tone and like a bulking up of the sound. It doesn't have to happen. When we're learning to sing, we don't teach singers to do that. That's a very advanced vocal technique that we would be looking at then once the chest voice is sitting properly, because I know a lot of people kind of go immediately to darkening the sound and then like all goes to shit really. Try and bring the tongue a little bit further forward. But again, this is very dependent on like the tongue length, your current like strength of your tongue, what the pitch is and all that sort of stuff. And that's why we need to look at that on like a one-to-one basis. So if you're feeling like your belt or even your chest voice is feeling very strange, you're feeling it kind of in your throat, you're wanting it to sound clearer, you're wanting it to be easier in general, then you can apply for singing lessons down in the description below. Absolutely love it. So this is a perfect example of when we're trying to stay in the chest voice register, that it's not always about vocal fireworks in order to make the song any good. So you can really stick with those riffs at the end were relatively easy riffs, but they were still effective and they still fit in with the song. And we're not sitting there going like, Sarah, I really wanted you to really riff like Tori Kelly there. So every individual singer is, well, individual, right? And that's what I want you to think about when you're doing your singing, and especially at the end of songs. She just repeated, I'm on fire, I'm on fire. You don't have to like do some crazy stuff. So this song actually, apart from that E5, I would say the song is a very, very good chest voice song for you to work on. I would maybe leave out that E5 and maybe go down to a B flat, or probably actually a B. Sorry, bad musician. The B will probably fit more into the key of the song there if you're going to stay on the B4. And just adjust that one note, and then literally you've got an incredible chest voice song. Fantastic. If you actually want help with that, I've already said it, but the free chest voice lessons are down in the description below. I'd love to help you with your chest voice. So well done, Sarah. Oh, Sarah, sorry. Oh, fantastic performance. I cannot wait to see what she is doing in the lead up to Eurovision. And as you know, I love an acoustic version. So let's hope that she does an acoustic version of this song. Let me know down in the comments, who should I be taking a look at? I cannot wait to get into this juicy Eurovision of 2026. Look, I teach people all day, every day how to sing, and this is it just gives me so much joy to help you with your vocal technique. So I would love it if you hit that subscribe button so that we can hang out more often. I teach singing full time, and it really does help me to carve out more of my working week to spend time with you here on YouTube. I'll put some more Eurovision tunes up here so you can keep on learning, and I'll see you around next time. Happy singing. Ka kite anō.